Okay, we are gathered here today for the weekly Dhamma discussion in English medium. So, we have already appointed topic, the traditional one, and we are going to take time with that. Before go into the book, if anyone is having any interview reports or any suggestion or any special thing to mention, we can take few minutes.
Alfred Bante?
Kumar, there is a report from here. Yes, please.
Okay, Bante. Thank you.
My mindful activity, eating breakfast, my primary objects were mouth, tongue and teeth. I could sense the force and the pressure of my teeth on certain foods. Some foods were softer or puffy, had puffy textures. I could sense the sweetness of banana on my whole tongue and also the spices on some areas of my tongue and the burning sensation on my lips. And walking meditation, my primary object was feet. I noticed the pressure of my feet on mattress, and sometimes my left foot produce more force compared to my right foot. Sitting meditation, my primary object was breath. After counting 50 inhalation and exhalation cycle, I stopped counting and just focused on breath, and I felt the steady inhalation and exhalation. And after a while, my inhalation changed to short rhythm, and also the same for out breath.
Yeah, basically day-to-day activities, walking and sitting, and fairly informative, but three things must be mentioned. You'd have not mentioned, but you'd have already noticed. When you are walking with the right leg with the effective and the left leg is passive, how many steps continuously you can observe. That's one of the key thing you may observe. What is the highest number of steps you can walk within the session, with the best session, and left leg, right leg, again the left leg, right leg, without interruption of secondary object. Same way, sitting meditation, whenever the time permits, whenever the time conducive, how many breath cycles you can observe. When you are eating, for example, how many morsels, food mouths, you can continue. Likewise, you have to quantify first, and then only you are qualitatively understand what are the different tastes of the food, what are the difference between the left leg and the right leg experience, and what are the difference between in-breath and out-breath experience. These parts you have fairly tackled. But I am asking, how many steps, how many breaths, how many morsels, if you know, you can just report it.
I could count 1,000 walking, and then I stopped counting.
The counting is, of course, cumbersome. If it is 10, 15, you can stop counting. Then you can say how many seconds, how many minutes, or how many ups and downs spaces. So that's the way you are make it very less cumbersome and informative.
And what about in-breath and out-breath? I could count 50, but then I stopped.
Yeah, then you can say how many minutes, how many seconds you can continuously without interruption. Or before the interruption happen, how many breath cycles I can do, how many seconds, how many minutes. So likewise, the quantity gives very direct indication for you as well as for the listener that how is the progress.
And may I have ask a question?
Yeah.
I want to know where doubts and conflicts come from. And now that I'm here, I supposed to be better, improving and happier, but I feel so doubts and conflicts more than ever. And why is that? And what is the antidote for that?
So increasing sensitivity, increase the critical self-criticism, increasing the finding fault with others is a sign of mindfulness. Developing criticism, self-criticism and the finding fault with others is a clear indication of mindfulness. That means you are very alert, you are very diligent, but what you have observed is negative. Criticism, lack of confidence and doubt. But if you are expressing it like that, that is the antidote. If you are telling, I have my doubts, I have my self-criticism, I have criticism for others, and I want to do perfect pedantic. These are jokes. These are the way we are approaching the area of mindfulness. We are like children now. We understand, but we have an audience to tell. That is the part many people are lacking. The Buddha created that stage. Good or bad, you just report. That reporting is called free association. It's called counseling. That's what you call psychiatric only way in the Western psychology. This is one of the four methods we have in Buddhism. One thing is listening. Listening to Dhamma. Second thing is practicing, sitting, walking, day-to-day activities. Third thing is telling someone, this is my progress, and your precepts. And see, at last, how much egotism is working when it is successful, when it's a failure. When doubts are arising, when criticism arising. Is it feeding my egotism, self-centered thinking, or am I becoming humble? Am I becoming, just tell someone, good or bad? That's called choiceless awareness. That's called evenly suspended attention. You are observing yourself critically. And then reporting someone. You also must be a practitioner. Otherwise they will start storytelling and making rumors about you. But in this forum, it is not the purpose. We are just humbly present our report. That is called counseling. That's called free association. So you also must be qualified. If someone is coming and asking, I have so much of doubts, I have so much of problem in sitting, I have so much of problem in walking, you must try to share with that particular person and share your experience. This is the experience, the best. I also have my doubts. I also have difficulties in my sitting. I also have difficulties in walking. But if you are not telling, it is negative. If you are telling, it is become double positive. Understand? That is what you call interviews or Dharma Sakaccha. In Pali we call Dharma Sakaccha, that means discussion and the rapport. And the other thing is Kamatahan Suddha Karna. You just report, the other person is listening, and sometimes he may give some suggestions. But reporting itself is a healing.
Is there a way to get free or get much less doubts, to get free from it or get much less doubt in life? Is there a way?
No. This has to be repeated years. With the failure, with reporting, don't give up. Sustainability is your personality. If you give up and do something else, it's a wastage of time. So therefore, the Saddhaya Kiriyaya Sampadeti, Sataccha Kiriyaya Sampadeti, Sakkaccha Kiriyaya Sampadeti. You must continue the timetable whether it's success or failure. And the second thing is, do it with both the hands. Don't do it with the left hand. Do it wholeheartedly. And the other one is, do it with the belief. One day, this will be the answer for my doubts. Our doubt is our subject. But I know by practicing, one day they will rectify it. So therefore, you have to practice with the faith. Faith not upon others. Faith upon my timetable. It is given by the teacher. Just follow. Kumara.
Yes, Bhante. We have received one report to present.
Yeah.
Thero Saranai Bhante. Have been meditation for the last 4 to 5 years. Report. Sit in meditation. Shut down for Anapanasati, concentrating on the in and out breath at the end of the nostril. Lesser long breaths mostly short and calm breaths experienced. No bodily pains at all. Certain feelings came and left but did not bother the concentration much. Few thoughts disturbed in between but eventually went away and the concentration naturally came back to the breath. After a while, was able to continuously concentrate on the breath without any disturbances. Body started to become lighter and lighter, so was the breath. Ended up with a very soft and short breath and felt as if it's further fading away. After a while, felt like being in an empty space, no thoughts, no breathing, just complete stillness. Felt like it's possible to stay in this mental state for as long as necessary. When the meditation ended, 1 hour and 10 minutes has passed. Even though the eyes are open, the same mental status was felt. Although seeing and hearing things, there seems to be no reaction at all, no thoughts. Walking meditation. Immediately afterwards, started walking meditation. Started concentrating on lifting and placing the feet. Concentrating on the feet was very easy as the earlier mental status from the sitting meditation seems to continue. No disturbances at all. Walking meditation ended up after 55 minutes. Still no reaction to things that are seen and heard, no thoughts. Daily activities. Went to make a tea. Was able to concentrate on the process very easily. About 10 minutes later, a few thoughts seemed to come around and the thoughtfulness state of mind seemed to break away slowly as carried on with other daily activities. But the mindfulness seemed to continue and much sharper than before. Kindly advise on how to proceed. Much merits to you, Bhante. That's the end of the report, Bhante.
Yeah, that is, if you do yourself feel mindfulness is advancing, we all are happy. And the 2 times you have mentioned no disturbances at all, that means you have done enough merits in your past life as well as the past years in your life. So that means it's a highway. You are proceeding in a highway, but if you still wish, I mean this is enough, if you still wish to make it very steadfast, gradual and progressive, you have to tell how many breath cycles you can observe when there is no distractions. How many steps you can walk in your walking meditation. And when you are making a cup of tea, you are doing the at last process. Imagine a girl going to a tea bush and pluck the leaf and then bring it after weighing, put into the dryer and then grinding it and then fermenting it and drying it and packing it, send it to you without caught up with the high humidity, and when you come, you prepare it, and that is how the quality maintained. So you have to be graceful and grateful to the whole the series. They are very, very poor people. The practicing, the tea makers are very poor. And nowadays, somewhat better, but earlier, they were sometimes Tamils. They have come here and their line rooms and everything was so shaggy. But now, fairly amount of their human rights and these things came, but not up to the mark. And with that only, Ceylon tea come into your table. And when you are preparing, you can misuse it. You can misprepare it. And then you will end up with a wrong cup. But therefore, you have to understand when we are eating something, when we are drinking something, when we are sitting in a meditation hall, we are walking in a meditation path, what a kind of a preparation come up to our level, and when we are doing, we are making it something successful. If it is not successful, you are not reporting. When it is successful, you have to be grateful. This is, according to the calculation, 2,566 years old. Imagine the way it came up to us. So therefore, you feel so grateful, even if you are a failure. But you are not such case, because you are ending up the reports telling that you know the progress. That means whatever the economic recession, whatever the COVID recession, whatever the warfare is happening in the world, whatever the people around us not mindful, no matter. Your thought moment, each moment you are meditating, I'm mindful, you are making the global cooling. It is not warming up, because that is called good vibration. And the other thing is, you are internally, externally not polluted. You are purifying others. So therefore, your each and every thought moment of mindfulness means you are meditating for the sake of humankind. I would rather say to all the living animals and the plants, because they can feel this good vibration. You may you may find difficult to feel it, but that is the thing the scientists are going to check when you are meditating, how much good vibrations are happening. And they have breakthrough, number of ways. They can understand the structural changes in your brain and chromosome level differences and chemistry in your body, how it changes, and it depends on how continuously you can continue breath cycles, so much of minutes. How many walking path and walking steps, how many minutes you can continue. So you may see less and less distractions may come, because you are approaching the breath, approaching the sitting meditation and walking, you know distractions are coming, ultimately you are the winner. Definitely they are losing. So with that confidence going, that is what you call correct view. That's what you call the diligence. That's what you call the be prepared. You are prepared. That means you are already in a success story. It is just a matter of verification, but you know. So this your report is towards that, but you have to report how many steps, how many breaths, how many other things you can do, and therefore even without reporting to someone, by writing itself, you can see the progress. Your report will be very short and sweet, but making a history, making a case history, how messy I was and how much it is becoming the least frictional path, how much we are in a comfort zone. So good, please continue with sustainability. Okay, Kumar?
Yes, Bhante, that was the only report we received.
Good, thank you. So we have about more than 30 minutes. So Venerable Dhammajiva is here. I would invite him to start with the due topic for the day today.
Yes, excuse me, Bhante. We're starting with the questions of Mogaraja.
Mogaraja.
Yes. And this is the first verse of that sutta. I have asked the Sakyan twice, said the Venerable Mogaraja, but the one with vision did not answer me. Yet I have heard that the divine Rishi answers upon the third request. And I could read the next verse as well. As to this world, the other world, the Brahma world, together with the Devas, I do not know your view, the view of the famous Gautama. And then he continues, I think, Thus I have come in need with a question to the one of excellent vision. How does one look upon the world so that the king of death does not see one?
Yeah, I will recite the Pali stanza pertaining to the Mogaraja Sutta.
Yes, Bhante. That was the first 3 verses that I read.
Pingiya Manava, Tissamitteya, Udaya Sutta, Bhadrauda, Chakka, Todeya Manavaka, Nanda Manavaka, Upasiva. මෙච්චර යන්න බෑ. දෝත මානවක, මෙත්තගු මානවක, Ajitamana, we did it, isn't it?
It's the second from the last one.
Yeah. Pingyamana Pucha.
The last one is
Parayanu.
Pingya.
Just after Pingya.
It's just before Pingya.
Mogaraja Sutta. I missed the bus. Okay, I am reciting the Buddha Jayanti book. This is the page number 344. Davahan Sakha Apuchisa Apuchisang Name Vyakasi Chakuma Yava Tatyancha Devisi Vyakarositi Me Sutang. He says, Venerable the recluse Mogaraja, I question you, Venerable Sakya Buddha Sakya Muni, twice. You have 5 eyes. You have different viewpoints. You never answered me. You are teaching even the celestial beings. I am going to ask for the 3rd time. Would you mind to answer? So that is a kind of a preview, kind of a historical background. So we have to go to the 2nd one. Then only we can go to the crux of the issue. Please. You went through the 2nd one, isn't it?
Yes, I did the first 3 verses.
Yeah, 2nd one is Ayan loko, paroloko, brahmaloko, sadevako, ditting te nabi janati, gotamassa yasasino. There are some beings in this world, I mean, by what we can see. And there may be some other celestial beings we are not encountered with our senses, and Brahma world and the celestial beings. What is your view, maybe about the beings, or whatever may be, what are you professing? Why people are calling you are a genius person? What is your view? He is asking the personal character of the Buddha, or the Gautama the Buddha, in terms of correct view. This is the 2nd question. 3rd one is, Etang abhikkantan dasavi attipanyena agamang khatang loke avikkasang machurajana pasati. He is pondering into that question. What is your view towards I came all the way 1,800 kilometers to see you. I have a question. I have some meaning of my coming. What is the way you must look at the world, living world and non-living, whatever may be, whereby the Satan or killer or the Mara will not see you. Whatever the way you are looking at, you are under the spell of Mara. Whatever you think, whatever you talk, whatever you do. But according to your view, is there any way where the death can't see you? Or the master of death, the Mara, cannot see you? Do you have that answer? Or do you have that viewpoint? What do you say? 3 questions. First thing is, I asked twice, Bhante, you have not answered. I am asking 3rd time. I came all the way with a meaning to ask question. And please answer. There are living beings. We can see, hear, smell, and contemporary living beings. And there may be some non-living. Presently we can't see. We call Ditha world. And Devas, Brahmas. Whatever it may be about this living world or physics, whatever may be, what is the correct viewpoint whereby you are not get caught up to the Mara or the death? He knows every way we are thinking, every way you are looking, every way we are talking, every way working under the snare of the Mara. Can you see there's a kind of a place whereby if you are looking from that viewpoint, the Mara cannot see you. So it's a question itself is very pregnant. It's a conceived question and only the Buddha can answer. Other people even can't think about this question. But they think I am correct, my way is the correct way. If I look like this, Maharaji or not, I am the king. One-upmanship. So you being a genius and enlightened being, what is the way you have to look at the world, look at the phenomena, whereby you are not get caught up. You are not under the spell of Mara. So that's the question. 3 verses and reduced to 1 question. Now we are going to go to the answer of the enlightened being.
Bhante, yes, the last verse. Thus I have come in need with a question. Okay, then the Buddha answers, look upon the world as empty, Mogaraja, being ever mindful, having uprooted the view of self, one may thus cross over death. The king of death does not see one who looks upon the world thus.
Yeah. It is very, very famous in Burmese Vipassana meditation, and in Sri Lanka also very few monks are talking about, but others have the fear of freedom. Others have the fear of unknown. So this is about unknown. Sunyato lokang avekkasu mogaraja sadatato attanvritting uhacha evang macchutarosya. Evan lokang avekkattang machurajana pasati. You have to look this world as empty. This is vacuum. There is no value. So, sunyato lokang avekkasu mogaraja sadasato. You have to, throughout, you have to see there is nothing worth, that is nothing holding. This is the way you have to look at. Thereby your self, your egotism, your self-centered thinking have no footing. But you don't think anything valuable in the world. Evang macchutarosya. And therefore the death cannot see because there is no self. You are looking at the world whereby there is no footage, there is no epithet, there is no parable, there is no example to say, I am here, world is there. World is empty, you are empty. If you are looking like that, the egotism cannot, sakkaya ditthi cannot get the footing. And you are not claiming it, or you are not assuming it. So that is the way, evan lokang avekkattang machurajana pasati. If you see everything is empty, that of course, sunyato is the term presented here, but when you are looking at the egolessness or anatta, sunyato, tucchato, ritato, parato, anattato. There are 5 shadows. 5 shades of meaning. Sunyato means empty. Tucchato means lack of anything. Rita, vacuum. And then anattato, no external atta or paramatma or jivatma. And there is no such discrimination. There is no external world and internal world. If it is there is nothing substantial. And parato, your egotism is a visitor, uncertified visitor. He only creates the outside world. So therefore, created outside world is your brainchild, and it's a hallucination, and it is something abnormal. And with respect to ego, external world, what you call your egotism is something abnormal. It is not existing. You try your best to establish it and to say, I am superior than others. So when such a thing happens, Mara is directly looking at you. Whenever you say, I am no one, whatever I achieved and achieving is nothing. But still you are very vigilant, very diligent, very prepared. Under such circumstances, Mara is looking, where is your footage? Where is your pivotal point? Where is your critical pivot or benchmark? If you are leaving a benchmark, Mara will catch hold. your achievement or disappointment, or your liking or disliking. That means Mara is in his accounts. But if you are working in such a way, no pivotal point, no critical path, no benchmark, no sign, no footage, no claiming, and even if you are claiming, you disclaim it. You disavow it. Yes, at that time I was very angry. I was finding fault with it. I am sorry. Please forgive me. That's a mistake, but there is no such. Under such circumstances, there is a path. There is a restraint. That restraint is three in types: moral restraint, concentration restraint, and insight, wisdom restraint. And the wisdom part is this one. Moral restraint and concentration restraint always based upon ego. Wherever you achieve something, your ego become one-upmanship. Mara is laughing at you. But in Vipassana, at the consummation of Sila Sikha, Samadhi Sikha, that means moral restraint and the concentration restraint, you disclaim it. You disavow it. And that's what not teaching in education system. Education system is always claimer. I have that degree, I have that property, I have this permanent thinking, impermanent things, and therefore, before the death, I must establish everything. I must make it firm, niche, and then immovable properties. Ultimately, you end up with your sadistic death or disappointment, and no one knows where to go. Throughout that, you are trying to establish something which is not available. So I can remember Bertrand Russell. He told, imagine someone is telling there's a kettle orbiting around the world, and you are going to try prove it. You will try your whole life to say there's a kettle rotating in the orbit. So you will try to see it, you will try to get the specific gravity, you will try to get the orbit and everything. So what will be the effort? If there is no kettle, that is what you call null hypothesis. You create a null hypothesis that kettle is rotating around the orbit of the earth. Each time you disprove it, you have to disprove up to 95%, then only you can have a confidence. Till that you try everything, you try to, as if it is to establish. Each time it is becoming not establishable. There is nothing. So each and every failure, still you have, am I failure in my research? It's a failure in my methodology. Is there a kettle but I can't tackle? Or am I a fool? All these things happen. That is all to discourage you. But still, if you go up to the discouragement up to 95%, then he will say you are in vain effort. All the what you have proved that 95% it's a false, you have to disclaim it. Because statistically, you have to prove something 95%, then we consider as accepted. We can't go up to 100%, 90%. So we have already accepted, we have already proved personally, pragmatically, but still we have doubts. That is true. That doubt is the one give the fertilizer. That's the one give it the food to disprove, to null hypothesis what you have fixed. So therefore some people call whole Buddhism is a null hypothesis. Aniccan, Dukkhaṃ, Anattā. So people asking Buddhism don't like Aniccan, Dukkhaṃ, Anattā, impermanent, suffering and selflessness. But those who are treat the philosophy, there is no religion there. Only three things available, so it is happening only through disappointment. We are handling a very, very beautiful sutta for the down in the 343rd retreat. There's one old couple, very devoted. They think Buddha is my son in my last life. So they can't claim as Buddha. This is my son. And the Buddha also allowed them to happen because very old couple. And the household is about to die. And the the housewife is going to say, now about to die. Don't have any hope in your life. If it is so, you end up with suffering. Buddha will not appreciate it. So therefore, I am your wife, and she has given 8 reasons whereby you can develop doubts. I am going to clear before your death. Don't think that after your death our children will be suffering, because you are the breadwinner. I know how to knit out of the kapok cotton, and how to make threads out of goats and the sheep. I can just meagerly manage. And the second thing is, don't think after your death I am going to find a second husband. Don't have that doubt. I have no. Third thing is, don't think after your death I will not visit Buddha. I will not visit Sangha. No. Whether you are available or not, I will visit. Don't think due to your death my concentration will be disturbed. I can't go to my early concentration. I have a good resilience. Whether you are living or dead, I don't care. So give 8 reasons, and present day we can see everyone dying is with a disappointment. With your whole life is a appointment, but end up with a disappointment. But what about having a appointment with a disappointment? Finished. You will never get disappointed. This is the first book I read when I was in university. It was a translated book. At the end of the book there was a annex. Balapuruttu kadavima. Disappointment is the topic. Within the A4 paper, it says life is a disappointment. Everyone end up with a disappointment. So try your best to have an appointment with a disappointment. So I took, at that time there was no photostat, and I purchased the book. And I went to the English medium. That's a Lao Tzu given, I think. And then I found what the hell our parents are teaching us. What the hell these universities are teaching us. What the hell our religious masters are teaching us, to create some kind of a hope. So end up with, they are also dying, suffering, and Buddha will never appreciate. Don't have any expectation. So it appears like a callous. It appears like you are not creative. You are not energetic. You are not diligent. You are not, no. You are utterly diligent to see disappointment. Utterly vigilant to see everything we do end up with suffering. But with that idea, don't give the motivation to do something. Do everything. You are utterly motivated, but end up with suffering. So you are very happy. Each disappointment, each suffering, it says, Buddha is correct. I am not claiming the suffering because that is my way. That is my preparedness. So Mogaraja also says, Sunyacho lokang avekkasu Mogaraja sada sato. Mogaraja see the world as negative, nihilistic, as vacuum, as nothing. Don't worry. Why worry about this nothingness? To have the worry, you must have outside world, you must have ego, and when these three happen, definitely it's a root cause for suffering, or tension and frustration, and you are worrying. I mean, worry is a part and parcel of the life. It is nothing. It is nihilistic. Let the people to worry. You are waiting to gain the mean advantage of others' worrying. Gain the mean advantage of your worrying. Capitalizing the worry, then you are the most successful person because no hope, no expectation. So there are 67 nuns down there, and they are full of hopes. full of enthusiasm, full of motivation. And when I am explaining, I can see they are looking down and they never expect that kind of a thing in a sacred book like this. But you see, I am quoting authentic sutta. It is selected by Venerable Chandraratana. You see, 8 mental proliferations whereby husband can worry at the deathbed due to these reasons. And then a wife is going to say, the last counseling, you may be suffering on these things, I am telling you, don't worry. Main thing is not to worry, you die. You please die, I will do the balance. So I am opening the discussion. But they are not dying, that is my worry. They are just telling that they are dying. Anyone who wish to contribute?
Reverend Sir, may I know what you have been narrated now about that wife and the husband? If I am not mistaken, is it referring to Nakula Mata? No?
Yeah, Nakula Mata is the lady. Nakula Pita is the sinking, dying. She is counseling with 8 reasons. We have about 15 minutes. Our official time is finished, but we can go for another 15 minutes if anyone is having any contribution. So if there are no comments, I am going to sum up the discussion. Thank you very much for the participation.
Thank you, Bhante. May I offer the merits?
Yes, please.
Thank you for the teaching today, Bhante. And may our relatives and all beings share in the merit of today's teaching. May all celestial beings share in the merit produced by today's teaching. And may they protect the Dhamma exposition and dispensation of the Buddha and his disciples for a very long time. And perhaps the seeds of the Buddha's teaching that have been planted in our hearts and minds may grow, producing path, fruition, and nibbana. I invite you to join in the recitation of the Pali verses for sharing the merits.